two half people can't make a whole relationship.
Absolutely.
You know, it just can't. And when you're one whole person who is strong from the inside out, who feels confident from the inside out, and who has that true inner game, inner faith in themselves, like faith in yourself, like you have faith in a religion, then that person is just magnetically drawn to you.
Yeah.
Everyone's magnetically drawn to you, you know, and I feel like you have had that at some point probably. And whether it's been wavering along the way or it waited a little bit and got lost, it's down there, you know, we just need to pull it back up again. And it's going to be an unstoppable force when it's there. And make that joy actually, you know, not a hypocrisy, but a truism.
Yes.
You know, a truism. So what things do make you happy?
Here's where I start to
Okay. Does being around your boyfriend make you happy? Does that give you joy? Or do you feel like it's more like just
It's more me wanting attention. You know.
That's honest to you.
Yeah, that's what makes me happy. I enjoy hiking. I enjoy languages.
How many languages do you know?
I actually don't know, like solid no.
One full language?
I took 4 years of Spanish, but I'm too embarrassed to practice, which if I got over that, I could be bilingual. And then I know a whole lot of languages, a whole little. Japanese, Italian, German, sign language. I should say ASL.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. When I was a receptionist for a while and I had free time, I would just pull up a language page and start memorizing.
That's cool.
It interests me.
Yeah. Have you ever tried, by the way, Rosetta Stone, I think it is?
Actually, boyfriend downloaded it for me, and I've played on it some. It's a little overwhelming to stare at the computer screen for so long, because I do it in long chunks. You know, like I've got nothing better to do, and I spend 4 hours doing it. But no, I really enjoy it. It's great. So yes, I enjoy foreign language.
Okay.
I enjoy travel. I haven't done a whole lot of it, but you know, I went to Hawaii for spring break with a friend of mine.
Nice.
We went on this amazing hike where it was like scrambling up boulders and and it was fantastic, and snorkeling, experiencing the outdoors. I enjoy that. I enjoy gaining knowledge. Things that seem useless, like
trivia facts.
Yeah, things like that.
Nice. And are you currently working right now?
No, I have the luxury of him taking care of me.
Ah, okay. So he's taking care of you for once.
Yes, he's being a darling. We've discussed me getting a job because we both think that it would be something for me to have.
Yeah, because right now, what are you spending with your time? Are you kind of bored with your time, or is that gives you a chance to be more depressed too sometimes when you're with your
partner? I just, I get up and go online. Whatever randomness.
Kind of surf the web and stuff.
Whatever. I usually don't even do, like I said, I used to go and look up languages and things like that. And recently it's been looking at different careers and how I would fit into them, because I'm, like I said, like you said, lost. Very, very well put. Because I'm feeling really lost and looking for purpose and something that I would enjoy doing. You know, some people think that, or feel that having a job is, mandatory whether you like it or not. I suppose I'm spoiled in that I've never been put in that position, and I don't intend to.
What position?
To have a job that I don't enjoy. Like I just can't do it. I literally won't get out of bed.
Yeah.
I just can't. I have to enjoy what I'm doing. And so basically that's what I've been spending my time on, is just kind of looking at various options And my boyfriend is right that I tend to get overwhelmed, and he said, I don't really think it's been helping you. You just seem to get more lost in the possibilities.
What? Was looking up jobs and everything?
And all the various different career paths. Because I don't know myself, so I don't know what I would enjoy. And, you know, it's all just more possibilities, and I get overwhelmed.
Yeah, okay. So how long have you been in this phase for of like trying to find, you know, what your career would be or something like that?
Probably since well, I got denied admission to the credential program in April, and then I became uncertain about what I wanted to do. And so that's when I started kind of trying to feel out other arenas. And
yeah, and that's the thing too, you know, is that there's an amazing, have you ever heard of the story 3 Feet from Gold? Well, basically, back in the day, there was, I can't remember what it was, it was a famous explorer, you know, and he had, or an investor, and this was like maybe 200 years ago or something, and he had bought this big chunk of land, and he got it really cheap, and there was supposed to be gold promised in there, right? So there's supposed to be, they told him like, oh yeah, there's gonna be gold in there if you dig and everything like that, and so he was digging, and he took all his workers, and they were digging and digging and digging for days. They couldn't find any gold. And he's like, you know what? This is bullshit. There's no gold down here. I'm going to sell this. So he sold it for really cheap because he's like, this is just bullshit. There's no gold down here. He sold the whole land for really cheap to somebody. And the guy bought it, right? The guy bought it. He bought it, and he was digging, and he only dug 3 feet. And there was an entire gold vein down there. It ended up being worth millions of dollars. This was like 200 years ago. So, point being, the guy learned his lesson afterwards, and he's like, I cannot, like, if I would have just dug 3 more feet, I would have been the richest man in the world. 3 more feet. And that's the problem, is that people give up too easily. They give up 3 feet when they're 3 feet from gold. And I feel like a lot of times you're letting these, you know, failures or letting these letdowns be assigned to you that this is the wrong direction for you, when really it should be assigned to you to dust it off and just keep going and say, okay, that just means I'm that much closer to where I need to be, you know, because let's say if you are trying to get from here to New York, you've got the roadmap, you're going from here to New York, and you know the state of New York is there. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's going to stay there. So if you got a flat tire, or if you had to go on a detour, or maybe your radiator blew out or something like that, New York is not going to change. All of that stuff, your car, you know, running out of gas and all that stuff, those might be small setbacks. You may take a little bit longer to get to New York, but the state of New York is never going to change. It's not going anywhere. So you see what I mean? So when you have a goal that's clearly defined and a vision that's clearly defined, some of those things are just setbacks, and it just might mean delayed results, but your goal, you're gonna get it. Your goal's not moving anywhere. But that's the issue with most people, is that they think New York is gonna move. Right. They think New York is gonna disappear, or it's not even there anymore. They're like, oh, you know, it just must not exist, or this might not be meant to be, so I'm gonna throw in the towel and go a different direction. Well, if you change directions, you're definitely not going to get to New York anyway, right?
Right.
So that's the thing, is that, you know, once you realize that there is no such thing as failure, there's only delayed results, then you can keep on, or another phrase I like is, there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. Because then you can take any failure, any small setback, as just feedback. Okay, well, maybe that particular thing wasn't the right one for me, but maybe if I change a little bit like this, then that will be. Or maybe I'll just do something differently next time, and then I will get the position, or I will get the entrance, you know? And you have to take, if you let the failure get to you, then you're just gonna continue going in that downward spiral, you know? And you could have been 3 feet from gold a year ago or so, you know what I mean? And so could have he. But that, and I'm not faulting you for it, because you just, you know, you didn't have the know-how or didn't really realize it. But how do you continue when you don't have that clear vision, though? Right. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm so excited to help you discover the clear vision for you, because once you have that, then there's there's no detour.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then everything can just fall into place, and you know you're getting there, you're determined, you're not going to let anything stand in your way. But of course, if you don't know where New York is, or if you don't even know what New York is, then how are you going to get there?
Right.
You have to have that clear vision. And a lot of where your depression is coming from, and a lot of where the feeling of lost is luckily, it's not something like, that's why drugs won't help. It's not like it's a medical condition. And it's not like it's something that's, like you have a serious illness or something. It just comes from, the lack of purpose, the lack of a clear-cut vision. Mm-hmm. And it can be easily helped, is what I'm saying. Like it's going to be, and once we have that, everything else is going to fall into place for you. Okay. So I feel that is, one of the biggest things that we'll work on first. And then number 2 is filling your life with more things that fulfill you. Yeah. Because not only will that make you more happy, more whole, more enthusiastic to get up in the morning and wake up, live your life, but it will make your partner more drawn to you too. And if you care about him and if you love him, and it sounds like he loves you too, he will be ecstatic about this change.
Yeah.
He will. And you guys have been together for what now, 2 years, 2.5 or so, or almost 2 years. Do you think in terms of, and by the way, I don't, when you guys say you fight every week and everything, to me that's no big deal, because couples that don't argue ever, I worry about. I'm like, there must not be passion there.
When I say we fight, I mean like close to breaking.
Yeah, then it depends how you argue.
Right.
It depends, is it constructive or not, And especially if you're like a broken record, and if fights are repeating itself, that's not going to be constructive,
Right.
But, differences do make that passion and everything.
Yeah.
But he's got some valid points too. He's got some valid points, you probably got some valid points. So the one thing that is the common denominator in that, obviously, is you at this point.
Yeah.
So that's, you're cognizant enough and you're aware enough that that needs to change, which is why you're here right now.
Absolutely.
But getting to the bottom of you two, do you feel like there is like the passion still in your relationship, or the romance, or it could be reignited?
It comes and goes.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not gone completely. It's still there. It's just latent.
Latent. Okay.